don't have to be.
Yes you do. Good morning fellow YouTubers. Today we're actually going to fit the diesel heater. The van's actually pretty much finished now. We're off on a trip soon to Scotland doing the North Coast 500. What we want to do is install a diesel heater just to make it a bit more comfortable for us. So what we've actually done, we've assessed where we can fit it in the van. We only have one place that we can fit it, and that's actually underneath the seat. So our job now is to we're going to move the seat to start off with, and then we're going to look at drilling a hole through the floor, and we'll take you through what we're going to do. But having actually looked in every possibility where we can put our heater, where Ragger's got a foot is pretty much the only place we can put the heater. But we do actually have a safe down here. So what we've actually got to do, we've got to move that safe first, because we want to bring this further back. Right in the centre there, yeah, that mark we made. Press the trigger.
Where's the trigger?
That's it, yeah, and you've got to move. Here we go, just adding some sealant, some Hammerite, just to protect the bare edges. We're going to seal it as well, but we just thought, well, we're here, we might as well just put a bit of Hammerite on it.
I think that's enough.
Okay, so what we've done, we've just now connected our exhaust. We've wrapped it in some fiberglass to try and prevent the heat dispersing too much underneath the vehicle. And this is our air line. We've connected the air line. This one here is going to be for our fuel feed going in, sort of thing. So we've also had to drill a hole in the actual dome. This is for the actual pump electrics. So we needed to drill a hole there as well, sort of thing. So what we're going to do now, we're going to set it in, and then we're going to seal it with some of this heat mate. So we're going to put a seal around this edge, around here, and also around the inner edge. So a double seal, so hopefully they'll prevent anything coming in. And then I've got to go underneath the van, which I hate doing, and start connecting everything up. So as you can see here, I've run my exhaust, and based on where I had to sit the heater, it was pretty tight to get my exhaust through here. So what I have done is I've run it between the rear stopper on the axle, hence why I've covered it into the fiberglass stuff, just to stop it from potentially causing any problems. But I've actually made some tin brackets which are galvanised, so that should keep it away from hitting the spring rubber casing. And I've also made another one down this end. They're not attractive, but they are functional. And again, it's just to help keep the exhaust on a downward pitch, and also keeping it away from any wires or anything else to which is under here that could potentially cause a problem. One thing I would say, I've run my fuel line, which I can see, I think you can see it just on the bottom there. I've run the fuel line from the tank all the way along the chassis up to the heater. Do be mindful when you attach your fuel line along the chassis that you're not going to be putting it across anywhere you might be jacking up the vehicle. Once when you go to a garage and they put those arms underneath the vehicle to jack your vehicle up, make sure that it's not on the chassis, that it may get crushed. With mine being placed inside a silicone sleeve, if it was crushed whilst they placed the vehicle on a ramp, I wouldn't notice because it's inside the silicone. So do be mindful of where you put it, that it's not likely to get crushed on the ramp in a garage. And here you can see I've fitted the new upgraded silencer just to help keep the noise down. I had to put an end cant on the end here because mine's very close to my bumper. So what I didn't want to do, as you can see, if I come further away, you can see my bumper's here, and I didn't really want to potentially melt the bumper, so I've just put a little tiny piece of tubing on there just to direct the heat down. Because the heat is going to be situated underneath our bed, rock and roll bed, etc. So the vent now opens up in the door. But I bought one of these ones that you can adjust the flow from, either closing it off, but it also rotates, which is going to make it handy so we can direct the flow. And the controller is over there. What I want to do is protect, when we put stuff in here, what I don't want it doing is actually, during we're driving or something, moving over this side and covering up the air intake vent. So what I've done, I've just created a little cage that I'm just going to put around the air intake, which will just protect anything from it. So it's just a little bit of, add a bit of metal grill, which I've used for other stuff. A couple of bits of wood at the bottom here, which is just really to protect the grill itself from damaging the lino, because it's quite sharp. A bit of rubber trim around the outside going to protect it. And I'm going to fix it down with some Velcro pads, which hopefully will hold it, and obviously I can also remove it if need to. So let's just put it in place and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's it in position. It's going to just protect anything from getting in front of it, because this back, we do actually have a back piece that goes on here, so I want to get as much air into there as freely as possible, but whilst also protecting it from anything blocking up. But hopefully that should work fine. That's the back of our chair finished off, but as you can see, there should still be plenty of air getting to the cage. Okay, well that's the heater installed. Let's see if she's going to work. As you can see over here, the amperage is going up, so the glow plug must be warming up. I think I can hear the fan turning slightly. Amperage is holding around 8 amps. I can hear the pump ticking. Currently 12 degrees in here, so being located under the seat means you can hear noise, but it's not too loud at all. At the moment I can hear the pump, but then it's on its startup, so you expect the pump to be making more noise at this stage. Amps are still holding around 8 to 9 amps. 108 watts. I have the CBE electronic unit, which does actually have this little button here is a sensor, which works with the CBE electronic unit for internal temperature. The actual unit I'm using is the Erberspatcher D2, which I understand is a 2002 model. I did buy it second hand, but hopefully it's going to work fine. I'm doing some research. It does actually have an additional plug, which is an altitude sensor, but which is actually, talking to a guy online, it means the ECU has been upgraded to a 2007 onwards, because they came with, that was when they first brought out the ECUs, which were able to adapt to altitude changes as well. And this is the 801 controller unit, which I understand if you press the up and down simultaneously, you can clear any fault codes. If you long press the radiator symbol or the start thing, it'll go into code reader mode, so it tells you have any problems. So the amps have now dropped down to 1.5, and I can just hear the fan turning over nicely now. And as I lean down, I can feel warm air coming out. So it looks like it's working. And my battery's gone back up to 12.5 volts now that the main pull of the glow plug's glowing has come off. Excellent, looks like I've got heating in the van.